day, everyone, said Sam as he walked through the post office doorway. Hi, Sam, said Jessie and Erin. Good morning, said Grandma. Are you ready to deliver today's mail? Yep, said Sam, dropping his crate onto the counter. Let's load 'em up. You have the best job in the whole world, said Jessie. You get to ride a motorbike all day. Yeah, pretty cool, eh? That's not what you said last month, Sam, said Grandma, when it rained for 2 weeks straight. She placed the bundles of letters and padded postbags and small parcels into the crate. Yeah, well, maybe not, said Sam, but still, I delivered the mail, didn't I? Can't you stay home if it's raining too hard? Asked Erin. Nope, people of Sunshine Cove are depending on me, said Sam. What about if it was snowing? Well, snow in Sunshine Cove would be pretty show-stopping, but I'd still deliver the mail. Okay, what if it was a really, really hot day like in the desert? I just asked people to hose me down as I rode by, said Sam. It's not all about my comfort. It's about being faithful. Sam checked the crate. That the lot then? That's it for today, said Grandma. Thanks, said Sam. I'd better get started. He headed out the door. See you later, he waved. Erin and Jessie ran to the window and watched Sam secure the crate to the front of his motorbike. He put on his sunglasses and motorbike helmet, then mounted the bike and kick-started the engine. The motorbike roared into life. Oh, cool, said Jessie. A while later, Jessie sighed loudly. Oh, why can't I skip ahead a few years and get my motorbike licence now? Grandma, you'd give me Sam's job, wouldn't you? I think your mum and dad would really like you to finish primary school, Jessie, said Grandma. And what about poor Sam, said Erin. You can't take his job. Oh, he's just mucking around, said Jessie. Jessie is jealous, Jessie is jealous. I am not. Okay, you two, said Grandma. Time to close up the post office for lunch. Erin watched Jessie push the salt shaker along the table like it was a motorbike. I know you think Sam's job is cool because he rides a motorbike, she said, but I don't think I'd like to be a postie. Jessie made the salt shaker screech to a halt. Why not, Erin? Asked Grandma. Well, you do the same job every day at the same time. I get bored. Bored? Said Jessie. On a motorbike? He drove the salt round the corner of the table. Any job can have its boring bits, said Grandma. Jessie, how about you park the salt and eat your lunch? Jessie did as his grandma asked, but he couldn't resist making the tomato sauce bottle do a skid on top of his meat pie. I thought Sam said it so well, said Grandma. He said doing his job wasn't about his comfort. It was about being faithful. Faithfulness is a quality God wants us to have, but of course, it's not easy. Erin leaned forward across the table and looked at her grandma and said, I just know you have a Bible story about it, Grandma.
Daniel was a Jew in Babylon when the Medes and Persians took control of the land. Each day Daniel would pray facing towards Jerusalem, his own homeland. Daniel, along with 2 others, supervised 120 officials who governed the empire for King Darius. Daniel soon showed that he worked better than other governors and was so outstanding the king considered putting him in charge of the whole empire. The other governors were jealous and tried to find something wrong with the way Daniel ruled the empire, but they could not, as Daniel was so honest and reliable. There is nothing we can accuse Daniel of doing, they concluded, unless it has something to do with the God he worships. So they went to see the king and said, King Darius, all who rule your empire want you to order that for 30 days no one is allowed to pray to any god, only your majesty, Anyone who breaks this law is to be thrown into a pit filled with lions." King Darius signed the law, and the laws of the Medes and Persians could not be changed. When Daniel learned that the order had been signed, he went home. In an upstairs room of his house, he knelt down at the open windows that faced towards Jerusalem and, as usual, prayed to God 3 times a day. Daniel's enemies went to the king. "Your Majesty, Daniel does not obey the order you issued. He prays to his God 3 times a day. He must be thrown into a pit filled with lions." When the king heard this, he was upset and tried until sunset to find some way to rescue Daniel. But the laws of the Medes and Persians could not be changed. So the king reluctantly gave orders for Daniel to be thrown into the pit filled with lions. He told Daniel, "May your God, whom you serve so loyally, rescue you." A stone was put over the mouth of the pit and the royal seal put on it so that no one could rescue Daniel. King Darius returned to the palace and spent a sleepless night. At dawn the king got up and hurried to the pit. "Daniel, servant of the living God," he cried out, "was the God you serve so loyally able to save you from the lions?" Daniel answered, "May your Majesty live forever. God sent his angel to shut the mouths of the lions so they could not hurt me. He did this because I was innocent." The king was overjoyed, and he gave orders for Daniel to be pulled out of the pit. The king then commanded those who had accused Daniel to be arrested and thrown into the pit filled with lions. The lions pounced on them and broke all their bones. King Darius wrote to the people of every nation, "I command that everyone should fear and respect Daniel's God. He is a living God, and he will rule forever. His kingdom will never be destroyed, and his power will never come to an end. He rescues and performs miracles. He saved Daniel from being killed by the lions."
Jesse pushed the salt and tomato sauce away from himself. "I don't really want Sam's job," he said. "In fact, I am happy to finish primary school." "Grandma," said Erin, "there was nothing boring about Daniel being thrown in with the lions." "That's true, but what about Daniel praying 3 times a day, every day? Some people would say that was boring." "I think it's what helped Daniel the most," said Erin thoughtfully. Grandma smiled. "I think you're right. Sometimes it's hard to be faithful, especially if you're alone like Daniel. But God will help you and will reward your faithfulness too. Daniel was lifted from the lion's den without a scratch." "Hey, Grandma," asked Jessie, "can Sam deliver stuff to himself?" "Well, I suppose he could," said Grandma. "Why do you ask, Jessie?" "He's doing such a faithful job. I think I might send him a thank you card." Thanks for watching. Go to kuikidsministry.com.au and you can read the story for yourself and download the colouring sheet for free. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.